I was like, oh hell no. And then she started cussing. She was like, I don't know why the fuck y'all accusing me. Y'all keep greeting me like I'm doing something wrong. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all are so just blah blah blah. She was getting so mad. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lissa. If you don't know, I do have a Depop shop. My Depop is @_Lissa. I do sell a lot of Y2K streetwear, vintage, name brand, and stuff like that. You already know what's up. I wanted to try and do some story times because I feel like some of y'all did request some. So I got you. Get your snacks, get your water, get your tea, get your wine, whatever you want to drink. And let's get into this video. My first job was at Icing. If you don't know, I used to pierce ears. That was my first job at 15, and I learned a lot from there. My second job was Papaya. My third was an optical. So that's kind of what the little dealio was for that, okay? My recent job that I left in February, if you haven't seen my video about me leaving my job in February, you should go watch it. That was my most recent job. So I don't really want to talk about too many stories just yet because it was kind of recent. Maybe a little later, okay. We're gonna save that tea for later, okay? This is a story time about when I had to chase someone stealing from our store. And keep in mind, I was like 15. This is my first job. I was a little timid, you know, and my manager, her name was, let's call her Sasha. She was very outspoken, very loud, very good manager. She was very people person, very social, and I was not. She really made me get out of my bubble. Like when I first was working there, she would make me practice yelling, "Hey, how are you?" from the back of the store all the way to the front. And she was standing in the front like, I can't hear you. And I would have to keep saying it over and over and over until I was loud enough. And basically, she was trying to get me out of my bubble. So I really liked her for that because that taught me a lot. I had to sell to people like jewelry and brides and just upsell and all this stuff. With that being said, there was one night we actually got an assistant manager because we needed another person to help the manager. And I was still a piercer, and I was also on the cash register and on the floor. It was a small store. If you have ever been to Icing or like Claire's, they're kind of small jewelry store, and there's only like 2 people working or 1 person working at a time. This was a nighttime. I was 15, keep in mind, probably 16 at this point, but 15. It was located in the mall, and they used to always make me take the trash out all the time. I had to go through the alleyway and go outside to the dumpster bins and take out the trash, and it was always dark and scary, and I was like, hell no, like I'm gonna get robbed out here. Like I've had so many guys try and catcall or like feel like that they were gonna fucking rob me. I feel like I want to make a whole video about that because that's not okay. Y'all need to see what us women go through because that shit is not okay. That gives you a little idea of kind of, you know, what I've been through at nighttime. This was towards closing. There's this one lady, she walks in. She's a little bit older, she's short, and she's carrying a bag, right? And it's pretty big. It's a pretty big duffel bag, okay? My manager, assistant manager, let's call her Claire. Claire was on the ladder putting up jewelry on the top. So she was doing inventory and I was cleaning, getting ready for the store to close. It closed at 9. It was about like 8:45 when this lady comes in. By that time, everybody's trying to go home. No one wants anybody to come into their store like 30 minutes to closing because you're like, bitch, I want to go home. I don't want y'all coming in here shopping till last minute because I want to go home. You know what I mean? Of course, when you walk into a little store and it's small, we're gonna keep an eye on you because it's, you know, it's a small store. We're about to close and you have this big bag and you're not really making eye contact with us or saying anything to us. We greet you, you don't say anything. So I'm like, okay, first of all, rude. She goes all the way to the bag. There's like bridal jewelry on the back and then like clearance and stuff, right? Next to it, there's like this little like diamond little tiaras and stuff like that, like for brides or for birthdays and stuff. And next to that, there's like a bunch of like little diamond like earrings. So she was in that little diamond, little pizzazz, you know, rhinestone area. She was back there for a while. And you know me, I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to clean. I'm trying to do my thing. And my manager, she's trying to put her inventory up. So she's on the ladder, like not really paying attention. She's just putting stuff up, right? And so I'm kind of not paying attention to her because I'm trying to leave, right? My manager, assistant manager, she says, excuse me. And I guess she was talking to the lady, right? And the lady, I guess, I was looking away. But during this time, the lady, I guess, was probably taking things and she got caught and my assistant manager saw her. Keep in mind, she was on top of the ladder. So by the time she was saying, excuse me, my ass was like turning around like, you know, what's going on? I don't hear the other lady responding back to her. You know what I mean? Then I see the lady go from all the way to the back of the store. She's like rushing to the front, right? And then she leaves. The assistant manager, she's still on the ladder and she's like,
ma'am, excuse me, I saw you take something, you can't take that.
I didn't know what to do when people get like a robbing or stealing, you know what I mean? But me, I'm trying to be Miss Hero over here, and I know usually people in the movies, like if you're trying to be a hero and run after people, like you usually die. So that's me, bitch. I will die in a movie, in a scary movie, you know what I mean? I never really was taught protocol about like people stealing, which probably, you know, wasn't my fault. But when she was running outside, she was like speed walking at that point, and she was going pretty fast. I start running like after her. By that time, she's already passed like 2 stores outside the mall, and I'm like kind of running, speed walking to her. I'm like, ma'am, excuse me, you can't take that. My manager is talking to you, ma'am, hello. And so the lady wasn't even responding or like looking back at me or nothing, and I was like, bitch, you're not gonna listen to me. My little 15-year-old ass will still beat you up. Tiny but mighty, right? She turns around and she's like all mad or whatever. And I'm kind of scared. I'm like, oh shit, she actually turned around. Like, what do I do now? Like, so then I'm like, ma'am, my manager wants to check your bag. She believes you took something. Like, you can't just run out the store. It makes it seem like you were stealing something. And when it comes to confrontation, I'm kind of not good with it. So I feel like I remember what I was saying, but I don't know. But somehow we ended up walking back to the store. The lady, of course, gets defensive, and she, you know, is accused of stealing, and she actually was, because she returned it at the end of it. So she was really mad, and she was, you know, when you get mad and you're stealing or whatever, because it's like, why are you getting so mad for? If you weren't stealing in the first place, you have no problem, right? So she was getting mad. And then as soon as we walked into the store and she was in front of the assistant manager, and then we're getting into it, you know, because the manager took over. You know, I'm a little girl. I shouldn't have to be dealing with that. They were going back and forth. And then cussing started happening. And Claire, she didn't play no game. She was a little, you know, a little feisty. And so she was cussing, and she was like,
you don't talk to my assistant like that. You have no right to steal stuff or whatever and be rude and be mean to her, blah, blah. If you don't have anything to say, you say that to me. You say it to me in my face. I'm the manager. I'm the one who you need to deal with this.
That's what Claire was saying to the customer. The customer was going all crazy, cussing and stuff, and she took this stuff out of her bag and was like, here. She put it on the counter like real mad and basically almost broke it, and then she stormed out. It was like 9 o'clock already. That's what happened. And it's retail. I hated working retail. I liked working retail. I always told myself my first job was not gonna be a fast food restaurant. I cannot work at no fast food restaurant, no food, no nothing, because your girl is clumsy, okay? That's one story. I want to tell you guys one more story about another stealing situation and what I had to do. Now, this one was at Papaya. This was my second store that I used to work at. It was actually during Black Friday. My manager, let's call her Erica. She was working, I was working, and there was 2 other fitting room sales floor employees, and I would have to be in charge of the sales floor and fitting room employees, like telling them what to do. And as a supervisor, I would have to, you know, change mannequins, be on the register, do safe deposits, stuff like that. It was time for me to take my break. Before I took my break though, my manager Erica was like feeling a little suspicious about this one lady that walked into the store. So she walked in again with a big old bag, a book bag actually. She walked in not greeting nobody. She had headphones in, acting like she couldn't hear no one, right? My manager noticed that she was by the pants area for a long time. We had cameras in the store, but we didn't have cameras everywhere, and there was no cameras on that back wall where the pants were. There was a bunch of clothing racks to block her, so you couldn't really see like from her head down. My manager, she's like,
hey, go over there and see, you know, just greet her, say hey, how you doing, you know what I mean, because she's being a little fishy.
And they didn't tell me what they thought she was doing yet, right? So I go over there, I'm like, hey, how are you? Like, do you need any help with anything? You know, your little customer service voice be a little high pitched, you know, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? So I went over there, and she was like, you know, like kind of nods at me and like basically told me, get out my face. You know, she didn't say that, but she was in her face. She was like, get out my face. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, rude. Like, I'm like, okay, I agree to her. I'm going on break. I'm hungry. I'm hangry at this point. Let me go. It was Black Friday around that time of season, and I was just ready to go. I went on break, 30 minutes, which is nothing. Came back. Erica is telling me again to greet the customer that's walking around in the back pants area, because she said she keeps walking around, she keeps grabbing a bunch of clothes on her arm, and she keeps going to that back area, right? Of course, it's busy, so we're all like trying to do stuff, and we can't keep our eyes on her 100% all the time. Erica tells me, hey, can you greet her one more time, like check up on her? She's been in here for a while and she has a lot of clothes on her, and we feel like she might be trying to put them in her bag. So I'm like patting the clothing racks. If you ever been in retail, you know, you kind of pat them to like put them all straight, right? So I'm patting them, go to the next one, patting her, and then go to the next one, patting it, you know what I mean? And then go to the next one, keep getting closer and closer to her. And then when I see her, I'm like, oh, like, are you finding everything okay? Do you need help with anything? Like, do you want to try those on? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I go back to Erica in the back of the cashier, and I'm like, she was rude. She has a lot of stuff in her hand, but she was very rude, and she's just being weird, suspicious. She's been in here so long, just weird, right? I don't know why they told me, of all people, to keep greeting her. Maybe on break, when I was on break, they probably greeted her a couple of times or checked up on her. So we'll say 5 more minutes passed. They tell me, hey, check on her one more time. And I'm like, hey, how are you doing? You know, are you sure you don't need anything? I couldn't even finish my sentence. She was like,
why do y'all keep greeting me and coming up to me like if I'm stealing something? I'm not, y'all like accusing me of something? Y'all have anything to say? Are y'all good?
and I was like, oh, hell no. And then she started cussing. She was like,
I don't know why the fuck y'all accusing me. Y'all keep greeting me like I'm doing something wrong. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all are so
just blah, blah, blah. Like, she was getting so mad. And then she started cussing at me, putting her anger out on me. She was like,
if you keep greeting me, blah, 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 like what's wrong with you, blah, blah, blah.
like just going ham, going crazy. Everybody's like, calm down, calm down. And me, I could not handle stuff like that. You know me, I would try to, you know, say something back, but I knew professionalism, business, we're in the workplace, I can't really do that. She puts all the clothes that she had in her hand, she storms out, and she slams them on one of the tables where the mannequins were. She rocks out and she starts beep, 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 the alarms, right? And so we're already suspecting her. So we go chase after her. And I learned my lesson from the first store. I was like, hell no, I ain't chasing. You never know. People might have a gun or something. We actually had a few shootouts in that mall, so it was a little crazy. They ended up letting her go. Like, it's not worth it. You know, this is gonna happen. People steal. She was taking off all the sensors on all those clothes that she slammed on the mannequin table. She was taking off all the sensors and stuffing them in between the pants. So in between the pants, we found like 10 sensors. I don't know how she was taking them off. You like this story time, let me know in the comments below. I will make some more. You know, while you're bored, while you're cleaning, just put my little story times on. If you want to watch some more story times, let me know, and I got you. I have so many. Make sure to subscribe because your girl uploads 2 times a week. Make sure you check out lissasline.com. I will be dropping an official talking video about it and explaining it all, but I do have a website launching this Saturday, December 12th. I am so excited. So it's at Lissas Line on Instagram. My website is lissasline.com. And also keep up with my main IG, you know, for good updates. It's O_it's Lissa. Thank you so much for watching. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.